Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Chef Lindsay, and today we are making pumpkin spice cheesecake bars. I figure with the holidays coming up, Thanksgiving, what better than not to represent these holidays with something a little, festive. So let's get straight into it. I don't want to take too much of your time. Alright, so boom, we're gonna start things off by getting this oven preheated. 325 degrees Fahrenheit is what we're looking for. And then we're gonna get started on this crust. You're going to want to start it out with 195 grams of Gingersnap cookies. It's about 25 to 26 if you don't got a little scale. Next, we're going to want 3 tablespoons of melted butter, preferably no salt. And lastly, all we're going to need is a 9x9 pan. That's it. And we're going to take care of the crust with these 3 little things. Now that we got that situated, we're going to take our 195 Gingersnap cookies and we're going to put that to the side and get ready to cut our 3 tablespoons of butter. And once we get that nice and cut, we're going to put that into our bowl and get that ready to get melted. And then we're going to move on to the blender. Alright, so now here we are at the blender and we got our 195 grams of Gingersnap cookies. Once we get this locked in, we want to get this to about the consistency of dry sand. Keeping in mind that you don't have to use a blender. Preferably, you probably actually want to use a food processor. But this is all I got. So once you get this nice and blended up, it should look like this. Now once we got that nice and blended, you still see a little couple of cookies in there, but that's okay. We're going to pour our melted butter into this container and then we're going to blend it again. Now we're looking for the consistency of wet sand. It should look something like this. Now, before we start anything, we're going to get our parchment paper and we're going to line our 9x9x pan. This is going to make things so much easier in the long run so that we're able to get our cheesecake out nice and easy without any problems. Now once we got that nice and spread it out, we're going to want to add that Gingersnap cookie mix all up in here. Alright, so we're going to make sure we get every single bit. Hey yo, no crumbs left in the container. We want all that. And then we're going to proceed to spread this around evenly with our spoon here, making sure that we get a nice and even crust along the lining of our pan. It should look something like this. Now that we got that done, we're going to pop our pan into the oven at that 325 degrees that we preheated for about 9 minutes. Hey, set a timer. We don't want to forget about this. And now let's move on to our cream cheese filling. First, we're going to need 24 ounces of cream cheese softened to room temperature, 3/4 cup of granulated sugar, 3/4 cup of sour cream, 2 eggs, half a teaspoon of salt, 2.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 3 tablespoons of flour. Alright, first we're gonna get our bowl and we're gonna add our 3 boxes of cream cheese. And once we do that, we're gonna add this granulated sugar and we're gonna get that a little blend. You want to make sure you blend it nice and round, well incorporated, so it looks something like this. We're going to add our 3/4 cup of room temperature sour cream. Okay, let's make sure we get every single bit of this, alright? And now we're going to add a 2.5 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Hey, be careful, I spilled a little bit. And we're going to make sure we blend that. It should look something like this. Let's add our 1 teaspoon of salt, blend it again. And then after that, we're going to add our eggs, one at a time, blending in between each egg. So once you get done blending that first one, you add the second egg, and then you blend again. And the finished product should look something like this. Next, we're going to add our 3 tablespoons of flour. This flour is going to tie everything together, okay? Very important. So make sure you blend that up nice, making sure you have no lumps and clumps. It should look something like this. Now let's get ready to make our pumpkin filling. You're going to need 3/4 cup of pumpkin puree, 1.5 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin spice, 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, a pinch of salt, and 1/4 cup of your cream cheese mixture. And boom bada bing, we got it. Now let's put it together. Alright, so in a bowl, let's get our 3/4 cup of pumpkin puree and start to add our 1.5 teaspoon of brown sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin spice, and that pinch of salt. I did it beforehand just to make it a little bit easier. Then after that, we're gonna add our 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract and our 1/4 cup of cream cheese mixture. We're gonna get that a little stir, and it should look something like this. Alright, so now that we got all of our ingredients ready, we're gonna start by adding our cream cheese filling into our Gingersnap cookie crust. Hey, we want to get about 99% of the cream cheese out, but we're gonna save just a little bit in case we need to fill in some holes. We're gonna spread this cream cheese filling around, and it should look something like this. Now once that's done, we're gonna start adding our pumpkin filling in like a checkerboard kind of fashion, randomly, not really randomly, around our pan, because we want to make sure we get it evenly spaced, because it's going to help when we start to make that little marble patterning down later on. It should look something like this. Next, we're going to take our Q-tip, or in my case a skewer, and we're going to start to go down horizontally across this pan. See, you're going to see these little lines, and then after that we're going to go vertically across this pan to do like a little swish splash, and then we're just gonna go random. We just gonna, you just want it to look nice, look not forced. And if you got too much brown in some areas, hey, guess what, we kept some of that cream cheese filling, so add some. And if you got too much white, hey, add a little bit more of that brown in there. We want it to look nice and pretty. It should look something like this. Alright, now we're going to put that into the oven at 325 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes. Once that's done, when you take it out, it should still have a little jiggle in the center, okay? So that's how you're going to really tell. It should look just like this. And after that, we're going to let it cool down to room temperature. Alright, so when that's nice and done, you're gonna have to put that cheesecake in the fridge, I'm sorry, for 4 to 24 hours. The longer the better. But lucky for y'all, I made a batch before this. I was trying to experiment, so I know it don't look the same. I actually did it upside down, so the marbling is on the bottom instead of the top. But it's gonna taste the same. So after you get it out your pan, you're gonna start by peeling off your parchment paper. You want to make sure you get all of it. You want none of that sticking. And then you're gonna get ready to cut this mug clock. Alright? Okay, so we're gonna want to cut this into 9 squares. And if you're having trouble getting your knife back up out the cheesecake, hey, take a paper towel, wipe all the cheesecake off your knife. It's gonna make a lot easier for you to pull that knife back up and not mess up your perfect squares. It should look something like this. Now don't that look good, yo? Now if you're hosting for a party more than 9, you can cut these squares into triangles, and then that's gonna basically double up your serving size. So instead of having 9, you're gonna have 18 little triangles now. You can see my dog in the corner thinking he about to get some cheesecake. And nah, bro, this is all for me. The most important thing, the taste test. Y'all don't know how long I've been waiting for this mug, boy. Y'all don't know. I'm going in, all hands full. And I want some of that pumpkin in here, so. Oh, that's so good. What the? Slim dilly-umptious. Scrum dilly-umptious. All tops of la yumptious. Yeah, that's good. That's finger looking good. Hey, y'all gotta take my word for it. Y'all can make it yourselves. If this is something y'all think y'all might be interested in, like I said, this Thanksgiving coming up, yo, y'all might impress a little something. You should make this. Bye. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and all that jazz. Peace. Man, this shit good.